We will start standing in this session. We're working with an affirmation. I honor my strength, and not just physical strength, but strength in resiliency, strength in our mental, emotional lives as well. And finding that strength and integrity within us to experience life in a way that's open, receptive, and to live right now in our world today with a lot of challenge and unknown and uncertainty. We can stand strong in our truth and in our presence. And that's what we will be working with today in cultivating this strength, cultivating this resiliency, and tapping into your empowerment, your truth. We start standing. You might have some props as well for this class. I have a bolster, 2 blocks, and a blanket. You may use them, you may not. It's nice to have them on hand. You can start with the feet about hip-width distance apart and begin to come forward and back. We'll do a little bit of movement to get into the body, and then we'll come into a little bit of stillness as we stand. Notice how it feels to have the feet forward and back. Hello, Taz. And then maybe even go side to side. There's no one right way. Notice the connection, your feet to the earth. And anytime your mind wanders in this practice, bring it back, your experience. Everything I share is invitational. You move in a way that feels right in your body. And you might even start to take circles with your hips a little bit with the feet as well, taking the weight forward to the side and back. Begin to go the other direction. And then maybe even now take the arms out wide and then bring them forward and then out wide again. So a little bit of intuitive movement here. Do what feels right and comfortable. Maybe even lift the arms up overhead. Maybe kind of swimming the arms forward or back. Any intuitive movements here. Welcoming your body, your practice. And then we start to shake out the body, the arms, your hands, the legs, any tension and stagnation or stuck energy that comes up, especially when it becomes a little bit darker and cooler. Shake it all out one more time. And big breath into your nose. Let it go. One more, breathing in, cleansing breath out. And now we come into a moment of stillness to observe the sensations and the energy that you created. Notice your feet, the connection. Your legs standing strong, supporting you, your pelvis, and then your hands and your arms, your whole spine that keeps you tall and lifted, the top of your head, and your whole body in this moment, in this space, here and now. Maybe you close your eyes or you look down towards the floor and sense into your whole body as it breathes. There's an expansion with your inhale and a contraction with your exhale. You might feel with your breath in, your breath travels up and out and around, even maybe outside the body, and then your exhale, it all kind of draws inward, a contraction returns back to your center. We'll do this a few more times, breathing in breathing out. Slow and steady. And if the eyes are closed, you can start to open them up. And we move the foot, the right foot, start to take the top of the foot onto the mat, taking these circular motions with the top of the foot, the toes, the ball of the foot. Again, there's no right way to do this. We're opening up the joints and the toes, going the other direction. Maybe getting all the way up to the very tops of the toes. Maybe notice how even your hip is part of this movement. Okay, now we move over to the other side. The left toes, the ball of the foot. And the other direction. It could be small movements, or it could be really big and really getting into the hip. Okay, and then come back, feeling this sense of being rooted, growing your roots down into the mat, maybe even have the toes tightly gripping the mat. And we take the arms up to the shoulders up towards the ears, and then bring them down onto your back. And a couple of more times. Breathe in, lift your shoulders up and down onto the back. These small movements can make a big difference in your joints and your body. So we don't have to do these big or expansive movements. Even these small ones can bring a lot of transformation. We'll go the other direction, forward and back. Nice. And now we bring the arms in. Breathe in, open, maybe even lifting up through your sternum and your chin. And exhale, take your right arm over the left. A gentle hug. You can hold the shoulders. You could tuck your chin in. Breathe into the back side of your body between your shoulder blades. Melt any tension here. Inhale, open. Expansive, and exhale, take the other arm over, rounding inwards slightly, breath fills between your shoulder blades. Inhale, open wide, expanding, and exhale, drawing the arms down, contracting. Okay. Now we'll take the feet a little bit wider, and your toes can be slightly pointed out with your heels in. And now we really take up space. Breathe in, exhaling. Maybe you start to lower down. You bend into the knees, up to you how deep you want to go. We're still warming up. Inhale, open, big and expansive. Your breath is the rhythm. Your pace, your exhale sinking in, maybe go a micrometer deeper. We'll do this a few more times. Breathe in, take up your space. Tap into the strength, your power, your resiliency. Sink a little deeper. And last one, open, expanding. Exhale, we contract. And we're going to hold here about 3 breaths. Maybe you feel a little bit of shaking. You're building core energy, heat. This is transformation in your body. This is your prana beginning to fuel you. And then open up a big star shape and exhale, release. We shake it out, let it go. Hands come here to the heart center. As you breathe in, sweep your arms down and up high overhead. The hands will begin to clasp. You could even take pointer fingers, this mudra, with your hands, or maybe you interlace the fingers and push the palms out. And we lean over towards the left side. And I invite you to draw your shoulder and elbow back. You might even feel your spine twist a little bit here. And if it feels right, you can look up to the right side under the arm. Maybe even kind of looking up towards your elbow, if that feels okay. Inhale, come up. Moving over to the other side, exhale. Maybe your gaze goes upward. Breath filling alongside your body. On an inhale, rise up. Release as you exhale. Let it go. Hands will come to the hips on either side. And we move through a standing cat-cow. This is our flexion and extension of the spine with the breath. So your inhale, you open up across the chest. You could even lift up with your sternum, maybe take your gaze up. And your exhale, rounding in through your mid-back. You might even tuck your chin. Inhale, open, expanding. Exhale, contracting. So all things in life have this pulsation of life, of energy that expands, breathing in, and contracts, breathing out. And you too are part of that same energy, the fluctuation of our life. My Duchess. Notice how it feels to be in your body, to move your spine this way. And the next time you come back up on your inhale, finding a tall spine, we will move into a twist. You can have your arms out wide. They could also be like a cactus. And we begin to turn to the left. Keep your feet rooting, your toes hugging, and lengthening through the very top of your head. How does the breath change here? What's your experience? Okay, and ready, back to the center. We move over to the other side, so to the right side. How deep you want to go is up to you, or if the arms are out wide. Notice your breath along the right side, the spine between your shoulders. And then release, come back to the center and let it go, shake it out. Bringing the palms at the heart center, we're going to start to rock forward and back on the feet here. Lift up onto your toes, the ball of the foot. Lower and drop the heels. Maybe lift your toes. It's up to you again how high and how big you want to make this movement. Okay, now the next time that you come down onto the heels, grip the mat with your toes. Inhale, sweep your arms up. And exhale, begin to sit as though you're sitting into a chair. Now we're coming into chair pose. You can bend as deep as you'd like, maybe a micro bend, or you bend quite a bit. And you might even now begin to take your upper body, so it's at this diagonal. You lengthen through the top of your head, taking your gaze down towards your mat. Tap into your breath here. If at any time you want to bring the palms at the heart, if that feels better, you can do that. And then inhale, rise up, straighten your legs, come onto the toes, the balls of the feet. And exhale, lower down. Find your chair pose. Maybe you start to tilt slightly forward at this angle. I honor my strength. I honor my connection to the earth, and then I'm supported and I'm grounded. Okay, inhale, rise up, come onto the toes, the balls of the feet. And last one. Come down, find your chair pose. Maybe go a little deeper. That feels right. Maybe you angle here. Expanding and contracting. So your breath in opens up spaciousness, and your exhale invites that strength, steadiness, integrity. Inhale. When you're ready, rise up, reach your arms up really high, and then exhale, let it go. Shake it out and find a moment to come into stillness as you stand and notice the energy here. Your feet connected, and your whole body breathing, maybe even your heart beating a little bit faster. Okay, from here, let's come to the top of the mat. We're going to come down to the floor. We'll take a little flow to get there. We'll bring the palms of the heart. With your inhale, sweep your hands down, reach up. Your exhale, you start to fold forward into a standing forward fold. I recommend bending into your knees to release any straining. And then the head is released. Your hands can come down to the floor, your knees, your blocks. And we're going to hold here. I invite you to stay for about 6 breaths, your own breath. Release any tension from your day. This can be a very healthy pose to do daily. This time of year, we have a lot of nervousness, anxiety, uncertainty. We stay rooted in our strength. And then slowly, we're going to bring the hands down to the mat, bend into the knees, and take a big step back with both of your feet. You might come into a downward facing dog, or you can come down into a tabletop shape. You always have an option if you want to try putting blocks under the hands to lift the body and create a little more space. So wherever you are, you can, if you're in downward dog, you can bend your knees one at a time and walk out your dog. If you are in a tabletop shape, you can take one foot back at a time and rock forward and back. Depends, it's up to you how challenging you'd like your practice to be, how much heat you'd like to build. And then wherever you are, we'll come down into our tabletop shape. You can push up through the backs of the shoulders, your fingers spreading wide. This doesn't feel comfortable with the wrists. You could make a fist and press the fist, the top of the fist down into the mat. Breathe here into your tabletop shape, building muscle memory. When you're ready, we'll move fluidly with the breath in the cat-cow series. Your inhale lifts up your tailbone, lifts up your chin. Your exhale, you round, you tuck your tailbone, you tuck through and push up through the back. Moving with your own rhythm, your own pace. And you might start to even come back towards your heels as you exhale into a child's pose. If you'd like to take this mini flow, breathing in from child's pose, rising up, lifting into your cow. And exhale, rounding through your back, sitting towards the heels into your child's pose. Moving organically to release any tension that you may have built in your spine. And eventually, we will meet in a child's pose. So hold here for about 30 seconds or so. You could bring your head to the floor to a block. Arms can stay reaching to the top of your mat, but they can also come behind. And I invite you now to observe the rhythm of breath in your back, low back, mid back, upper back, expanding and contracting. Okay, now from here, we're going to rise up. We'll take the feet out to the sides and then in front, coming into a seat. I encourage you grabbing a blanket and sitting on top of the blanket. Your hips are a little bit higher than your legs and your feet. The legs will extend out in front. If you have tight hamstrings, you can roll a blanket up or your bolster and place it underneath. We'll take our hands behind us on the tips of the fingers and begin to lift up through the heart, the sternum, the shoulders drawing together on the back, maybe even tilting your head slightly up. This expansive opening in the front side of your body, tapping into your inner strength, your truth, your authenticity. Couple more breaths here. Expanding, breath rises from the root up your spine, your chest, your throat. Exhale. A gentle pelvic abdominal contraction, the navel's drawing in. When you're ready to release, let it go and come back to the center. Begin to point and flex the feet. Pointing and flexing and then taking circles with the feet, your toes, your ankles, all the way up to the hips. Continue to keep a tall spine. Now going the other direction. Begin to draw the right foot in now. The left leg can stay extended. The foot can come to the inside of your left leg. It can also come to the outside of your left leg. Your spine is tall. We begin to twist to the right. You can take your right hand behind you and you'll lengthen up tall. And then with your exhale, beginning to twist. I invite you to look over your back right shoulder. And maybe even take your gaze to the right side of the eye sockets. A little vagal toning for your nervous system. You're also welcome to close the eyes. Slowing your breath down. So we built some heat and steadiness, and we invite ease and softening. start to release. And then take your right foot over the left leg. You might walk it over a little bit. We're coming into this variation of it's called cow face pose. It's also another variation of a pigeon shape. You might feel sensations in your right outer hip. You're welcome to stay here. This might be more than enough sensation. Or you can start to come forward. This is intensifying the sensation a little bit. If you do come forward, begin to round in your mid-spine. You can also hold your bolster or support your head and hands. Your breath slowing down. Across the body. And even allowing a sense of softness and ease here, the face relaxing, your jaw. Welcoming all parts of you here. You stay here for another few breaths. Slowly, you'll rise back up. You have a bolster in front. Place it to the side. Lift the right leg back up. Send it down the mat next to your left. Hands come behind, lift up through your heart, your collarbones. Maybe you're squeezing the shoulder blades together. Flex through your feet. You can tilt the head up and back. Observe this breath rise from the root to your pelvis, up the spine, lifting up through the front door of your heart. And release. Pulling the left leg in. The foot can be to the inside of your right leg, or it can come to the outside. Finding your foundation. As you lift up, the left hand comes behind, turning to the left. And if it feels right, you want to explore a little vagal nervous system. You can look to the left side of the eyes. You're also welcome to close the eyes. And if you close the eyes, you can still take the gaze to the left. Noticing how the energy that you built is moving throughout your body. Your energetic body. This is your breath body. Slowly we begin to release. Return to the center. You can take your leg, cross it over the right. And coming into this variation of a cow face pose or pigeon pose, you're welcome to stay tall or begin to come forward. If you are straining in this shape, or there's a big gap between the knees, you can place a blanket or a block between the knees. This side might be a little bit different. Your breath slow and steady. Soften the face and your jaw, your teeth, around the eyes. A few breaths left here. When you're ready to transition out, rising up, move your prop to the side and cross the legs. They're extended down the mat. Take your hands behind, lift up through the heart. I honor my strength. The strength of my breath, the strength of my body. And now from here, we're coming into this forward fold shape. You can have the bolster in front, resting on the legs, perhaps your head in the hands. If you feel a little more comfortable and you'd rather bend the legs and place the feet flat, that's also an option. And you round into the back side of the body. Expansive breath through the back of your heart, the back door of your heart. If you notice your mind wander, guide it back to your body here and now on your mat. Breathing into this shape, the connection to the floor. When ready to transition, come up. We'll take off the props off to the side and lower down onto the back. Have your bolster close, your blocks close just in case you'd like to use them. And I recommend a blanket for the back of your head. As you come down onto the back, you can pull knees up towards the chest. Perhaps you even rock side to side. And if you use straps or you have a scarf, you can always have that nearby too. And another variation of this would be to have a strap around the shins, holding each side in your hand. Moving here intuitively, you could take circles with your knees. You could rock side to side. Beginning to lower the feet down to the mat. Reaching for your block or your bolster, we're going to come into a supported bridge. If you do have a blanket under your head, mindful that it's thin and it's not really thick, you press into your feet, grab your prop, and place it underneath your sacrum, your tailbone, and it rests right on top. If you'd rather do this shape without the prop there, that's more than okay. Finding whichever variation you're in, you can rest one hand on the pelvis and the other up on the chest and the collarbones. Keep your gaze upward. You can close the eyes if you'd like. And we're going to hold here for a little bit and breathe into the shape, the breath. Very slow and steady. You can feel your breath rising from your pelvis, the hand on the pelvis and the navel. It may even lift up as your breath rises and it comes into your chest and your collarbones. Maybe then you feel the hand at the top lift. As you exhale, very gently draw your navel in towards the spine as you empty out the breath. And this isn't forced, it's a gradual lengthening, a gradual expansion. If it ever doesn't feel good, you are more than welcome to release this breath practice. We're connecting here with our diaphragm, one of the largest muscles in the body. And the fibers of the diaphragm connected at the back are also connected to your vagus nerve. So this can be one of the most therapeutic breaths you can practice. Filling in your pelvis, your belly, your heart, your chest, collarbones. Exhaling, drawing the navel towards the spine. Breathing in, breathing out. We'll do this another few times. Expanding the breath, observe how you're breathing here. Exhaling the contraction, your strength, your integrity. You're welcome to stay in the supported bridge, or if you want to bring in a restorative shape, you can lift your legs up. If you have a strap, you can hold around the shins. So this reclined squat shape, or you could take the legs towards your ceiling. In this variation of Viparita Karani, legs up the wall. If you have a wall, you can do this posture. I recommend it Any time in the evening, especially, helps calm the nervous system. A few breaths left. If the legs are extended, you can start to guide them back down, taking your feet down to the floor. Pressing into the feet to lift the pelvis and take your prop out. Lower the spine down. Notice what you feel. Taking your feet about as wide as your mat, begin to take your knees side to side. Windshield wiper the legs from one side over to the other. And the next time you bring your legs over to the left, you can hold here in this variation of a twist. You can also place the legs on top of your prop, your bolster, or your block. And I invite you to extend your exhale. Your arms can go wide or rest on top of the body. I personally really like to place my hands on my side rib cage to feel the breath. From here, we'll start to come up with the legs, and they fall over to the other side. You might scoot your hips a little bit over towards the left side as the knees fall to the right. Finding your variation here. Maybe you hold your outer rib cage with your right hand and your left arm comes out to the side. You could look to the left. Your exhale becoming a little bit longer. Now we move into this more restful state for our body. And slowly, when you're ready to transition, bringing the legs back up, your hips return to the center, and pulling knees into chest. You can use the strap around the shins, or you could hold and rock side to side. Eventually, we'll make our way into the last shape, the pose of Shavasana, the pose for rest. Your legs can go down your mat. You can prop the backs of your legs with your bolster. You can also take this shape on your side. You can also come to sit. Maybe you wrap a blanket around you. The blanket can be nice as it supports grounding. If you're on the back, you could have the arms by your sides. They can also rest on top. In our final resting shape, this is a time to embody the practice, your breath, the movements, the energy, your strength. And there's nothing that you need to do here. There's no need to control or change anything. Let your breath be natural. You may notice that with each exhale, you release, no longer contracting, but rather a release, a softening, a sinking into the earth which holds you. You might close your eyes. You can leave them open, relaxing your face, your eyes, your jaw. And noticing the rise and fall of your navel. We'll be here for another few minutes. I'll let you know when the time is past. You're welcome to come out at any time. Bringing your awareness to the sounds you can hear. The space that you're in. Perhaps you visualize where you are. Sense the space just outside the body. The earth beneath you. The support of your props. The temperature of the air. Perhaps the blanket draped over you. The face, your eyes, your nose, your mouth, the space of your heart, the rise and fall of your navel, your whole body, and the rhythm of your breath, your whole body breathing. This moment of peace, this moment of calm, connection to the earth and connection to all things that have life. The energy of your breath. When you're ready to transition out of this pose, you can expand your breath and taking small little movements to welcome yourself back into this practice, back into your day, your evening. You could rock your head side to side. You can move the hands and arms. Slowly rolling onto your side. And coming upright. Your hands can come high overhead with your breath in. As you draw them down, across the head, across down to the heart, and drawing the head in. To honor your practice, to honor your strength, your breath, your energy. Thank you for letting me guide you. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Wishing you peace, peace, perfect peace. Thank you.